We all want our children to be happy and healthy. Often, parents make a conscious effort to keep their infants clean and free from the dangers of illness and disease. We bathe them, vaccinate them, sanitize their living spaces, but no amount of sanitation can protect children from a danger that is manageable but often ignored or left to develop out of neglect. This danger stems from inherited chronic diseases. An often overlooked but potentially fatal category is in the inherited metabolic diseases. How can you, as parents, be informed and vigilant towards this potential danger?
Well, before we can tackle the steps and signs to prevent such diseases from becoming severe, we must examine the root of the problem. Just what are inherited metabolic diseases? Technically speaking, they are genetic abnormalities caused by a deficiency in or absence or one or more enzymes needed for a metabolic pathway to function properly. But you might ask, why is this significant for my child, and what does all that mean? That can seem like a lot of confusing terminology, but it can be broken down into more simple terms. Simply put, the body needs enzymes in order to complete critical life processes. Without these substances, life functions just can't work like they're supposed to. Enzymes speed up chemical reactions and keep up metabolic processes that are life-sustaining. If left untreated or undetected, the effects can be devastating. But just how bad can the effects of an untreated metabolic disease be? It might be helpful for us to look at the situation of a child named Anna. Anna was diagnosed with an inherited metabolic disease called phenylketonuria, PKU for short. She was unable to metabolize the amino acid phenylalanine. Her parents did not attempt to have the child screened back in their home country. Due to the prolonged unawareness of her parents to the disease, Anna suffered many afflictions from it, including seizures and eventually irreversible brain damage. These complications could have been avoided had the parents taken the opportunity to screen their daughter. But what other indications were present to them that could have revealed this disease before more serious symptoms presented themselves? A big thing that her parents first noted was that she was fair-skinned, with blonde hair and light-colored eyes. This surprised them because they both had brown hair with brown eyes. They also noted that she was growing slower than usual for a newborn. Other signs that a parent may notice are dry skin and persistent rashes. Many signs could also have been detected from their physician in the clinic, including the imbalance of amino acids like phenylalanine and tyrosine in the bloodstream that were affected by Anna's condition. Her anthropometric, or body measurements, could have been used to see stunted growth. Her neurological development could also have been measured to see the developing brain damage that PKU was causing. Nonetheless, the effects were felt by this disease. The seizures Anna's experienced by her first birthday could have proven fatal. The scenario luckily was resolved when the disease was detected and her diet was adjusted to avoid foods rich in phenylalanine, such as meats and dairy products. However, the damage was done. Could this have been avoided? It seems that early screening during infancy could have given Anna the treatment she needed sooner. So what's the issue? If these diseases are so devastating, then surely all parents have already taken precautions to detect these illnesses. Unfortunately, the problem stems from the rarity of the diseases. Sometimes, even if an infant screening is available, many do not take the opportunity to screen their children, as it may be viewed as not worth the time or money. After all, many inherited metabolic diseases, like PKU, only inflict a small number of people, with odds like 1 in every 10,000 people. If the odds are so low, many may have the mentality that it can't possibly affect my child. But it is this very mentality that can cost a lot for the infants that end up developing these diseases. As parents, consider not only the time and resources that could add up from allowing the risk of an inherited disease to develop in your child undetected, but also their safety and well-being. It may seem like a big investment at the start, but this investment at the time of birth can mean the difference between life and death for some children. Take it seriously. If it is accessible to you, always take every measure to detect and prevent such illnesses from taking a toll on your newborns. Infant screening is the first line of defense. But even if detection happens later down the road due to the inability to get screening, parents can still manage and treat their children and accommodate for their disease. Just like Anna and her family, all parents can make the efforts to care for their child living with a metabolic disease. Living a manageable life is possible, but requires awareness and education on your child's health needs. In the case of Anna's condition, she was unable to metabolize phenylalanine, a component of protein-rich foods like meat and dairy products. But cutting out these foods causes a deficiency in protein, a substantial energy source and biocomponent. So to compensate, Anna's parents supplemented her diet with a phenylalanine-free protein mix that helped her to get the nutrients she needed. Many dietary adjustments are needed to treat a child with a metabolic disease and can be instructed by your physician and nutritionist. When you restrict a certain macronutrient from your child's diet, such as proteins, they will need to substitute those lost nutrients. Things like phenylalanine-free protein supplements can allow children like Anna to get the nutrients she needs. Proteins, fatty acids, and carbohydrates can all serve as energy sources. For example, the main use of carbohydrates, an immediate fuel source, makes them indispensable to metabolism. In times of fasting and low carbohydrate intake, other nutrients can be converted to carbohydrates to continue fueling metabolism. However, these macronutrients serve many other functions in the body, so one should try to find alternatives to get recommended intakes.
With all that in mind, we hope that parents take every opportunity to ensure that your child is cared for and able to lead the most healthy life that they can. Infant screening is the first step towards protecting your child from any innate dangers and helping them get the treatment they need right away. Through love, care, and attention, children affected with these diseases can grow and flourish despite the challenges of inherited metabolic diseases.